Hey house guests, welcome to today's Big Brother 21 updates and spoilers. Our house guest of the day is Angela Harazan. I definitely said that wrong and I'm so sorry, but thank you so much for the support. We really appreciate it and could not do this without you. So thank you again. We think you're awesome. And if you guys want to be house guests of the day, check out our Patreon link in the info box below. And before we get started, I also wanted to wish everybody a happy and safe and fun 4th of July. Woo! Yay, America. Okay, so we have a lot to discuss. Last night we saw Ovi was evicted by a vote of 12-0. It was a real hello goodbye, or I guess it was more of a goodbye hello, because Julie revealed that the first 4 evicted house guests are going to be staying in the house. So they're out of the game, but they're not. Like, they're gonna have a chance to come back in. They can't compete in any of the competitions right now. They can't vote, but one person will be coming back. And I could have sworn when we were watching that Julie said it was gonna be a vote, and that's why they had to make sure that their social games were still on point. But I didn't see anybody else saying that, so maybe I just made it up in my head. I don't know. Let me know in the comments if you guys heard. I guess she didn't mention it. I don't know. So Ovi never left the house. He's still there. And David is back and looking fine as hell. So he, Ovi, and the next 2 evicted house guests are going to be sleeping in Camp Clapback. So this room is upstairs. It's like the one next to the HOH room. And I guess it's essentially the have-not room. That's why they didn't, you know, have have-nots yet. Usually they would have set that up by now. So that's pretty exciting. Oh, and Jack is the new HOH. Okay, bye! So when the feeds came back, Ovi was in Camp Comeback with Tommy and Jack. And Ovi's asking them, was the vote up in the air, like right up until it was time? And they lie, and they say yes. But we know that that was freaking settled before he even went up on the block. They lied. So then Ovi's like, all right, well, you know, who were you having the most difficulty bringing over to keep me? And they're like, oh, it was everyone. Everyone wanted you out. I mean, like, everyone decided that that was what was going to happen. So they didn't single anybody out. So then Sam, Nick, Jackson, and Cliff were in the Target bedroom. And Nick and Sam were like, we're not going to talk any more game with the camp comebackers. Let's just call them the campers, because that's a lot to say. So they're like, we're not going to talk any game with the campers because they've got nothing to lose. Only one person is going to be coming back. So if you tell them something, they can just turn around and tell everyone and screw up your whole entire game. So then Christy was also telling people, don't talk game with them. Catherine is telling Jackson, be nice to them, but you don't have to talk game with them. Thanks, Mom. All right, so then Jackson is on the smooth over parade tour. He's talking to Ovi. He's trying to smooth things over with him. He's like, well, there was this rumor going around that Jack was trying to flip the votes to keep you, and it was started by either Jess or Kemi. So we couldn't vote for you to stay because the house would have pinned the votes on me, Jack, and Sis since we were all so close to you. What? So anyway, come on, like, Ovi, he can't be buying this, right? It's ridiculous. So then Ovi's like, I get it, no hurt feelings, you guys did what you could. Is he serious or no? Because it's like hard to tell right now. But he says that's the way that the cookie crumbles. So then Jackson's telling Ovi, you have to be the one to come back. Number 1, he's terrified of David. And number 2, he wants that freaking nightmare power like Boromir wants the ring. He is ready to snatch it, and that's it. So Ovi's like, you know, best case scenario for you is for me to come back because I got that power. Is he gonna come back with the power though if he comes back? I feel like that's not really fair. You know, if you're voted out, you should lose your power. But I guess they don't know the answer to that. But Jackson's like, I know, you're awesome for me. I'm not gonna tell anyone about the power. Too late. Jack and Jackson already told Christy, Tommy, Holly, Annalise. They told mad people. But Jackson basically like threatens Ovi to not like mess with his game because he's saying, if you screw us, we know that you have it, so we'll be able to tell everybody. But Jackson does say he's very upset that David is back. He's pooping his pants about it. And Obi is like, you were the only one who told me that I was going, so you don't have to worry about me. Like, we're good. Alright, so then Jackson checks in with David, and Jackson's like, oh man, what the F happened in that banishment competition? He's like, sorry, wait, David says, I lost, man, it was dark. Oh my god, I'm so excited we get to see David on the feeds now. So then Jackson's like, well, I thought for sure you would be the first person to come back from that competition. And David's like, yeah, right? I thought so too. But he said he went in too focused. It wasn't what he visualized. He had this image in his mind of what it was going to be like, and then he went in there and it was dark, and like it threw everything off. His shoes were pulled off by the goo, and he didn't know what to do. So Jackson's like, well, I don't blame you for any feelings or emotions you have toward me. I'm happy to see you back, man. That's some bullshit. But David says, you know, that was my competition to win, and I blew it. So we're good, no hard feelings. Like, we're gonna get some great workouts in. I think he's just messing with Jackson at this point, right? I mean, he can't come in all hot, because then everybody's gonna freak out more than they already are. So then Jack and Jackson were talking in the boat lounge privately as bros. They actually said that. And Jack says, the 8 has never been more true. We have to stick with this 8. I mean, this twist has pretty much set it up so that the 8 will have to stick together. Because if they turn on each other now, and then the evicted person is staying, they're gonna spill so much information and sabotage the HOH. So like, they're terrified to go against their group right now and make a huge move, which kind of sucks. Like, I'm excited about this twist, but at the same time, it is gonna, I think, prevent some big, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know, some like big moves from happening here until this twist is done. So Jackson says, I just talked to Obi, and Obi still wants to work with us, so that's fun. And Jackson says we gotta let bygones be bygones with Obi, because he's still gonna have the power if he comes back, and he thinks that we're the only ones that know about it. Again, is he gonna come back with the power? It just doesn't, it's not sitting right with me. It doesn't seem fair. So Jack is all excited. He tells Jackson, come meet daddy. So Jackson jumps into his arms and wraps his legs around. Okay, so then a little while after that, Luna, come here. Jack calls for a house meeting. Is this a sign of things to come this week? I mean, he hasn't been HOH that long, and this guy is calling a mother effing house meeting. So everyone gathers around the dining room table, and Jackson's like, sorry, Jack says, I don't want to make this house meeting seem like a demand or anything. Okay. So he starts by saying, you know, for the 4-week period, we're gonna love having the camp comebackers around, but with that being said, if all the rest of us can come to an agreement to avoid talking game with the people who have been kicked out of the house, interesting choice of words there, he says it'll be beneficial for the campers if it doesn't seem like they have a ton of alliances built up. You know, maybe it'll be a nice, fresh, clean slate for them if they come back into the house, and it also won't put any of the current players in a tough situation. You know, they don't want to risk somebody getting game info and blowing up their games. So he's like, this is just a suggestion, but socially, absolutely, hang out with us. He's talking to them like they're friggin' garbage or something. I feel like it's not a good look. So then David's like, hey, I'm new here, so I know there's a lot of downtime in the house. How much do you guys spend talking game? And they're all like, oh my god, what, we like hardly ever talk game. Like, we're such a family and we do everything together. It's a lot of fun. Like, we really don't talk that much game. Oh my god, you are so full of it. So again, Jack is like, all right, like, nobody by any means has to abide by it. We aren't gonna stop you. And then he's telling the campers, like, you're obviously gonna come across game talk. Just don't instill it or try to route it in any way. I guess he means when he says that, like, don't be the one to initiate it, and if you do happen to stumble upon some dangerous game talk, try not to, like, steer the conversation or, like, insert yourself. You're out of your mind. All right, so then it just sounded like, have you guys seen the Kroll Show when they have, like, the Canadians having the intervention, but it's not an intervention, it's a suggestion? Yeah, that's what it felt like. Okay, so then a little while after that, Cliff was up in camp, I just keep wanting to call it Camp Clapback. He was in Camp Clapback upstairs with Ovi, and he's like, yo, don't worry about Jack's talk. I'm still gonna talk game with you. I'm gonna give you the whole scoop. I'm gonna keep you up to speed on everything. Woo! Cliff Hog the Third doing his own thing. So Cliff is like, Ovi, I think you got a great chance of coming back. Yes, David is athletic, but he really beefed it in that banishment competition. So, like, anything could happen with these competitions. And also, they don't even know if it's going to be a competition. But he also says that he thinks that Kemi, Kat, or Jessica, you know, 2 of those are going to be the next 2 targets. And if he's competing against them to come back in the house, he thinks that Ovi can beat both of them. We'll see. But they figure that this week, Jack is going to put up Kemi and Jess. That sounds about right. And Ovi's saying that he needs to rebuild relationships with people. He thinks that Kemi, Bella, and Jess are the 3 who were really, like, pushing for him to leave. They were the ones driving that. Oh my god. So Cliff is like, are you sure? Are you sure about that? Ovi, at this point, is not even sure if he can trust Nicole anymore. Are you freaking kidding me? Nicole was one of the only people who was trying to keep him last week. Are you joking? So he's like, I don't know. Did she leak the plan about Jack flipping the votes? And Cliff is like, I don't think there was ever a plan. I'm pretty sure they were just trying to make you feel comfortable. Thank you, Cliff. Please talk some sense in him, please. So he's like, I know that you thought a lot of people were eager to keep you, but I don't think they were as eager as he thought they were. And he keeps saying, like, it wasn't a malicious thing, like they wanted him out, but it just worked out that way. All right, so then, you know, I thought that Cliff was talking a lot of sense, but then they both agree that they're glad that Jess did not win HOH this week because she would have tried getting rid of one of the big guys. And they do not want that to happen. And Cliff is even like, when you come back into this game, the 2 of us can probably align with some of those big guys. Stop! Why does everyone want to work with them? They suck. Oh. Alright, meanwhile, I need to get away from that. Meanwhile, we have Jack and Jackson talking in the storage room. And Jackson is like, the fact that they're living with us, that just changes everything. Because, you know, they can't make some of the bigger, more controversial moves that they would have potentially made. But Jack's like, whatever. I'm still putting Jess and Kemi up on the block. You know, there is the possibility of backdooring Nick. And Jackson's like, this soon? With the comeback? So they agree it's too risky. They can't be doing that because, again, they can't just turn on their alliance and have them stay in the house because they're going to tell everyone everything. So Jack says, all right, well, in that case, we have to make the 8 really strong. We need to reinforce it. So he's saying if the veto is used, I'll put up Kat as the pawn. We'll just have to live with the chaos and the annoyingness. All right. So let's talk about Kemi. She knows she's going up on the block. She's not stupid. So she thinks she's probably going to be up there with Kat. Maybe, I don't know. Jack is saying he's gonna put up Jess, but depending on what happens with the veto, you never know. So she just is really not looking forward to having to kiss Jack's ass, and she says that she would rather fillet herself and then take an acid shower. Damn, that's some strong emotion right there. But she says it really stings because her birthday is this week. So she's either gonna spend her birthday up on the block, or if she's getting backdoored, she's gonna spend her birthday wondering if she's gonna get backdoored, you know? So she's pretty upset about that. But there is, you know, some hope there. She's like, I don't know, he doesn't really get along with Nick, so maybe Jack will want to get rid of Nick. You never know. All right, so then Nicole and Ovi were talking in the horse camp bedroom, and she lets him know, I tried so hard to fight for you and to get you to stay last week. And Ovi's like, I'm not upset with you. You and Cliff did more than anyone else. Oh, he believes that now. So Nicole says there were a few people who blew smoke when they didn't have to. So Ovi figures it out that it was Jack and Tommy. Nicole confirms this. And then Nicole says, okay, Jack did talk to me like he told you he was going to, but he said we're not keeping Ovi and that he just wanted to make it look like it could happen. Damn, so that really hit Ovi hard. He was like, oh, for real though? Like, he was shook. Please, continue to help him see the light. So Nicole's telling him, Cliff and I have your back. We actually tried to keep you. And it seems like Ovi is finally understanding the dynamics in the situation here. Oh, my foot is falling asleep. So then, meanwhile, Jackson and Holly were in the boat lounge. These two freaking suck. Oh my God. Holly has been hiding how much she really sucks. I'm sorry. But it started off okay. You know, they're just talking game stuff. They're saying that there's no way that they can target Nick right now. It's got to be Kemi and Jess up on the block. And then Kat would be the potential replacement after the veto. So then they're talking about the whole showmance situation, because we know that Jackson has been sleeping with Kat multiple times, and Holly is the one that he actually wants to have a showmance with. He's claiming it's all game with what's-her-face Kat, and he wants to have a real showmance with Holly, so he's trying to figure out how he can transition that while they're both still in the house. So disgusting. So, and I still can't even believe that Holly's okay with it. It's just like so bizarre. So anyway, Jackson's like, I can't just push Kat to the curb, but today she's been over the top clingy. Maybe you should stop sleeping with her? I don't know. Maybe that's why she's clingy. So Holly says, it's not that clingy when you're winking at her and shit and being super flirtatious. I will give that an amen, because that's tea, right? I mean, that's legit. So then Jackson's like, well, what am I supposed to do? Oh my God, are you kidding me? So he says he made a mistake. He doesn't know how to get out of it. I don't think that Holly knows that he's slept with Kat like multiple times. I think she's just under the impression that it was like a one-time mistake. Nah. So Holly suggests maybe you should just like sit her down in like the nicest way possible and friend zone her. Is that mean? So Jackson says that everything that he does is game related. It does not reflect who he is as a man. Sure, Jan. I mean, just because you're saying that doesn't mean that it's true. It's definitely showing something about your character, and it is not looking good. I mean, there's like gameplay, and there's like screwing someone over in the game, and then there's like screwing someone and saying that it's game. It's not cool. So anyway, Holly is worried about how he's being perceived in and outside of the house. She's like, I don't want anyone to see you as a fake boy player. And he's like, I'm not. Okay. So then they were talking about how they would have been totally screwed if they had voted Kat out this week and then she stayed in the house. I think that would have been one of the most amazing things in Big Brother history, and it would have been insane. But unfortunately, it didn't happen. Okay, so anyway, at this point, David pops his head into the room, sees them in there, and then leaves. So then they start talking about David, and this is where it gets really effed up. So they're talking about how they're terrified of him, and he's got that look in his eyes. What is that look? Because to me, it's like a beautiful sparkle, twinkle, I don't know. But they're seeing something else. So Holly is saying, oh, Jack's house meeting, that was my idea to make sure that nobody talks game to the campers. Congratulations. She says, David is here to manipulate and cut throats, and he's already flirted with me, and he's only been back in the house for like 5 minutes. Yo, girl, get a grip. It's not that serious. So she says that David's gonna flirt with the girls take down the guys and make everyone turn on each other. And then Jackson says, David is the cancer of the house. What the actual F? What has he done to you? Oh my God. You freaking banished him. So then Holly says he's 100% the villain and he's gonna live up to his role. Where is this coming from? So then they were saying that they could see Kat or Kemi hooking up with him, and they're like, oh yeah, it would be great if Kat would hook up with him because then she would be like like away from us, blah blah blah. And later on, Holly made some sort of comment about how Kemi is gonna be like in bed with David within a week or something. Okay, anyway, this is where it gets really, really insane. Jackson criticizes David for asking who in the house is single. So Jackson says they've got 3 different shows on major networks for that shit. What? Do you own a mirror? Do you have memory loss? You are the guy that's sleeping with one girl and trying to get with another. And you are criticizing him for asking who's single. Are you joking right now? You freaking jabroni. So it's just hard to listen to these two. Honestly, it's just really difficult. So then at this point, Jack joins them and Jackson just can't stop talking about showmances. And he can't stop talking about David. And Jackson's saying, I don't think anybody has kissed each other in this house except for David. David's gonna come in and run a train on all these girls, right? Am I right? Oh my God! What are you smoking? Oh my God, is there a gas leak? It just blows my mind. He is so jealous of David. Wow. Okay, so anyway, Ovi, Nicole, and Cliff are talking in the storage room. They start out with a group hug. Aww. And Ovi says, you guys were right. I think I got played. I don't think the others tried very hard to keep me. Thank God, he's finally realizing this now. So he says, I still don't know why I was on the block in the first place. And they don't know either. They can't figure this out. They don't know how the target flipped from Kemi to him. It just doesn't make sense. So, I mean, honestly, I don't think Kemi should have been the target in the first place, but that's another conversation. So then, Obi is like, all right, I'm a free agent for the next 2 weeks. I'm gonna do whatever I can to help you two out. I know that you tried really hard to save me, so, you know, I'm gonna do what I can to help you guys out, even if I don't come back. I wanna make sure you're set up really nicely. So then Cliff and Nicole were talking about the eviction itself, and they were like, oh my God, when we heard the bugle, we thought that you used the nightmare power, like we thought that you had the power and whatever, and it didn't turn out to be that. This was the perfect opportunity for Ovi to tell them that he did in fact win the nightmare power, but he didn't do it. So how ironic is it that he's like, oh, you guys are the only people I can trust, and they're like some of the only people that don't know that he's got this freaking power. It's insane. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of other people that still don't know about it, but I mean, there's at least like, what, 6 people that do know about it, and they're all turds. So anyway, after this conversation, Obi was talking to the cameras, and he says he got played by Jack. He's not really sure what the deal is with Tommy and Sam, if they were also playing him. I mean, yeah, kind of, right? I think Tommy would have actually kept Ovi if the votes were there. But, you know, he was kind of blowing smoke up his butt. I don't know. But he's not going to let all those guys know that he knows that they played him. And he says, look, I've been playing with blinders on. I need to be smarter about this. And he said he knows now that he can trust Cliff and Nicole. And they're the only people that he owes any allegiance to. So this is like a new game for him. I hope you are right. Okay, so then Kat and Holly were chatting in the storage room. Here's another little bit of insanity for you guys. So Holly was like in a really bad mood yesterday. She was being a lot. I think it's all like getting to her with the Kat stuff and the Jackson stuff and like everything. So she says, I'm starting to get worried for my game because I was playing like a really good low-key game and nobody was paying any attention to me. It's been 1 week. It's not like you've been playing for months like that. But anyway, she's like, now the girls are starting to think that I'm not on their side. You're not? We've seen her tell Kat that she doesn't want to do the girls alliance, and Kat agreed. So yeah, they're not working with the girls. But Holly's like, I'm hearing now that Kemi said that she wants to backdoor me or Sis. Nope, I'm pretty sure that's not what she said. I'm pretty sure Kemi was saying that she wants to target Jack, so her plan was to put up Jack and Jackson, and then if the POV was used, she would put up Sis, or apparently Holly. I didn't hear Holly as a possibility, I heard Sis, but whatever, even if it was her too, they would be like the replacement nominee, but Jack would still be the target. So she's kind of blowing this out of proportion, in my opinion. But Kat's like, the only reason that they're saying this is because y'all are pretty. Oh my god, I can't! So then Holly's like, well, in that case, she's targeting you too. So Kat says, oh, I'm not as pretty as y'all. But then she's like, well, shit, maybe. So then Kat says, what have you and Sis done besides be nice and look cute? Oh my god. Do you really think that you're going to be able to just sit around and hang out with your showmances all season and not be a target? No, okay? No. So Holly says it's because we're all friends with the guys and we're targets by association. And Kat's like, well, whatever, we're getting Kemi out this week. So like they went on and on talking about like how they can't trust girls that are insecure and whatnot. So they went on, but I could not. I had to stop because it was just too much. It was ridiculous. Okay, so some other quick tidbits from last night. The house guests were playing that game, What Are the Odds? And Bella lost, and it resulted in her having to eat a spoonful of mayo and drinking a glass of dirty hot dog water. I gotta give her props because she just went right ahead and did it, and everyone lost their minds over it. They were like, oh my god, she's such a badass, whoa. Moving on before I throw up. Not long after that, now this reminds me of this phrase that my grandmother always used to say when my siblings and I were younger. Actually, she still says it. She's like, you'll be crying or no, I messed it up. You're laughing 1 minute, you're gonna be crying the next. Not long after that, Nick and Bella were upset with each other because she was pissed that he was talking to other girls. I'm assuming it was Sis. And he is pissed that she was pissed, and he's all, she's breaking my balls. So yeah, that was that. I can't get too involved in that Love Island shit because it's just exhausting. So anyway, other than that, Jack got his HOH room. He got pictures of his dog Layla. Very cute. And his letter was from his work friend who is currently watching his dog for him. It's interesting. I mean, Jack's family, none of them signed releases, so I guess they just didn't want to be involved. I don't know. But he still got really emotional and started crying reading the letter from his friend, and he was just like, whoa, what the hell's wrong with me? You're allowed to cry. It's okay. But his music was Incubus. Moving on. At one point, David and Ovi left the room, so everybody else was still in there, and there was more discussion about not talking any game with the campers. And oh my god, this is ridiculous. Christy was like, raise your hands if you're in total agreement, honestly, that you're okay with not talking game with them. So everybody raised their hands and agreed that they're not going to talk game with them, which is super lame, and people have already talked game with them. It's so stupid. So meanwhile, Ovi and David were chatting in the Camp Clapback room, and David was asking Ovi about his eviction and did he see it coming and blah blah blah. You know, what's the most frustrating part about the game. So he's just trying to figure out like what the vibe is and what's going on here. And I gotta say, David is already getting a better read within a few hours on this house than Ovi has in the last few weeks. It's insane. So he's like, yeah, I could already tell during that house meeting that there's some sort of divide here, because some people were stressed about Jack being HOH. Some people looked really calm and excited and happy. So he knows what's going on. He can start to already see who's working together. Okay, so then today, Cliff had his morning chat, and he wanted all the updaters to tell his family. He apologized for not doing a shout out during the live show, but he was so nervous and he forgot. I just thought that Cliff was being like a true ass super fan and knowing you are not supposed to be doing shout outs during your voting. Honestly, it was like too much last night with all the shout outs and everything. We get it, you know people and it's their birthday. Okay, so anyway, he's cool with a Jack HOH this week because they have the same targets. He, for some reason, does not like Kemi or Jess. And he says that he's also cool with David being the villain because that means that everybody's going to be united against David. And that's one more week that Cliff can make connections here and hopefully make the target on him smaller. So then he's saying his core allies are Mickey and Holly. No! Oh my god! So he had like some late night chat with them last night and it made him feel really good about them. No, they suck. Cliff, don't do this. That's really disappointing because I really do like Cliff. I'm hoping he can turn it around, but like, that ain't it. So then he was saying maybe he can pull in Ovi and Nicole if Ovi comes back into the game. Okay, so we're gonna move on. Supposedly Jackson will be ending things with Kat today because last night was the last straw because Jackson said, I saw a little bit of this on flashback, he was in the HOH shower and Kat opened the door while he's like naked and she starts like talking to him. He said that's too much. So apparently it's gonna be Independence Day for real. There's gonna be some fireworks, I'm guessing, and not just actual fireworks. So, all right, everybody's panicking about David at this point. They're like, oh my god, he's gonna stir stuff up. And David talked to Cliff this morning. He was asking Cliff if there was a divide in the house, and Cliff told him no. So then David's like, all right, well, if there's not two groups going at it, then that just means that there's one big group. He's right. And he says that that means all the little groups are gonna have to come together and unite, or else they're just gonna get picked off. And he's got a point there. But Cliff went and ratted David out to Jack and a bunch of others. Cliff, what are you doing? Don't do it. Oh. Alright, so then there's like some other natural disasters in the house. There was an earthquake, like a real live earthquake at 10:34, 10:35ish a.m. Everybody was fine. It's okay. It's just interesting when that kind of stuff gets caught on the feeds. Like that happened, I want to say it was like season 10. I remember that happening as well. But yeah, everybody's okay, so it's all good. Okay, and then it's time for the real earthquake. Jackson has his conversation with Kat. So the feeds were down from the beginning of this conversation, so we didn't see like how it really started, but when the feeds come back, Jackson is all like, I've got to disassociate myself from you in this game. I hope you understand what I'm talking about. What a coward! If he was a real man, he'd be like, I want to have a showmance with this other girl. Sorry. But no, he's not saying that. And she's like, well, I don't get it. Like, we've already disassociated. Like, what do you mean? And Jackson's like, I have to be selfish for the first time in my life and focus on myself and put my energy into my game and put his pee-pee into Holly. Okay. But Kat's like, okay, I understand. But then she's like, but I'm confused. So Jackson says, if I'm associated with you, it's a liability to my game. You know, I gotta look out for myself. I'm sorry, it's not personal. I think it's very much personal. You're telling this girl that you've been hooking up with that you're not gonna be hooking up with her anymore. That's very personal. But he's like, well, I'm still gonna have your back, like, behind closed doors. And she said, yeah, I'm still gonna have your back too, but like, what? So Kat's like, I hope it works out for you. She admits that it does hurt her feelings. And then she's also confused on a game level. She's like, I was really excited about what we were building. Am I like out of the group now? Does this mean that the group's gonna come after me? And I'm thinking, no, they're not coming after you, but they are gonna continue to use you for now, so get freaking ready. So Jackson says, it's going against everything in my heart, but I have to listen to my brain. give me a freaking break. This guy is the biggest tool. So then Kat asked the big question. Why is it okay? Like, why is this a problem, but it's okay that you're now being associated with Holly? Because now people are talking about him and Holly. Oh, snap. And Jackson's like, that doesn't matter. I don't want to talk about anybody else. Like, if something comes up with me and somebody else, then I'll address that with somebody else. But, like, we're not talking about that right now. Oh, so, I mean, it was just so much. And, like, thankfully, the feeds went down again during this conversation. So we didn't have to endure any more of that. I gotta say, Kat was very calm during this right now. But I feel like she could potentially go off later. Especially when she sees Jackson continuing to cuddle up with Holly, right? So I'm really curious what the fallout is going to be like with that. But I mentioned that the feeds went down, and they were down for a little while. And when they came back, the house guests were all talking about winning a trip to Fiji, and like, I guess they got shown some sort of Love Island clip. It sounds like the Power Veto competition is going to have a Love Island tie-in, and one of the prizes in the comp is going to be a trip to Fiji. I wouldn't be surprised if this was like the one where it has rewards and punishments, and that trip is like the reward. That's what it sounds like, unless there's some other sort of competition. But it sounds like it is going to be the Power Veto, which should be happening on Saturday. But Love Island, they're really shoving this shit down our throats. It's bad enough that we've got to deal with this on Big Brother. So anyway, Big Brother should probably be giving them a party at some point today. They usually give them like a barbecue or whatever. And yeah, I think they're going to have the rest of the day off game-wise. I mean, like with official game stuff, like I'm sure there's still gonna be game talk, but not with the campers. And then I guess the Whacktivity comp is gonna be tomorrow, and nominations should be tomorrow as well. So it's gonna be an interesting week. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I know that's a lot going on, but let me know what you guys think, and until next time, much love.